Dear brother, sister, and today I would like to share some of you, with all of you, some of my thought about some different way to help the people how to engage and practice Buddhism. The Sanskrit, they say Five Vidyas. But that language it seems a little bit complicated for me as well as for the young generation. So please allow me to share with you in English. Based on my best knowledge, as a Buddhist practitioner, we would like to have more people understand about Buddhism, practice Buddhism, so that they can benefit not only for themselves, but also for family, for community, and for society. So what are the 5 methods to guide someone or people in general to benefit from the teaching of the Buddha? First, if anyone, you want to have someone learning and practicing about Buddhism, first, you must have strong foundation of Buddhism, understanding as well as practicing. What is Buddhism? The basic of Buddhism, we can say Four Noble Truths, right? 8 Four Noble Paths. So when we say Four Noble Truths, someday we are happy, someday we are not happy. Bruce, right? You can see that. Apply, you should take time and see why I'm not happy right now. What cause make me unhappy? Where's the possible solution? Then follow the possible solution. So minimize the problems. I do not want to say end the problem, but at least minimize problems and then enjoy your life. That is what I mean. Apply Four Noble Truths. Because if you want to have someone to be a happy person and you still struggle, it is almost impossible to convince someone to follow your path. For example, at this Tamba Buddhist temple, the reason why you see many Western practitioners join on Friday night, very simple. One person come in, learn how to meditate, learn how to solve the problem, and then when they return to their real life, the people surrounding them benefit. That's why you should look big different few months ago. Oh, I'm going to Tamba Temple every Friday night to meditate. Research indicate meditate benefits. So from there they convene their friends, husband, wife, children. That's why they see the benefit. So first method to have anyone to learn about Buddhism, you must understand basic theory and learn how to apply. Four Noble Truths, 8 Four Noble Paths, about cause and effect, cause raising interdependent. We believe that we are inter-affected, interdependent. If you are happy, you can also make me happy, right? If you're not happy, you also create more worry and anxiety, not only for you, for family, and for myself. That is the way I perceive call interdependent. Second, and this is the perfect time to say, if you want to introduce Buddhism to anyone, especially in our modern society today, you must introduce Buddhism as a scientific way. In order to introduce Buddhism in scientific way, you must have a foundation, logical thinking, right? Logical thinking. With the young generation, if you say something, he or she say it doesn't make sense. How can you convince them, right? So you must have scientific knowledge. I usually summarize 3 words, very simple in Buddhism. Reasonable. When you say something to anyone, you must say it with the sense of reasonable. Then, applicable. Make sense, but also apply. Be able to apply. Then, beneficial. For example, if you say something like this is the perfect example. 10 years ago, when I visit Vietnam and I visit a Buddhist temple in Saigon, and some of the monks just casual conversation, very simple way, and suddenly I asked, how many participants on your regular service, twice a month or weekend? He say, oh, now it's a lot of people coming, over 100 people, compared to 10 years ago, just only 15, 20 people to go to a temple. And I said, well, wait a minute. You cannot make a conclusion that says today is more people go to temple compared to 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the population in Saigon maybe only 4 million people, but now it's more than 10 million people. So you cannot make that conclusion. So he looked at me and said, no, you're an American monk. I just see the number increase. I say, yes, number increase, but that does not mean more people participate based on the percentage. That's why I mean the language of scientific. Especially today, you have to be clear when you send a message to anyone, right? And again, if we don't know, we just say we don't know. Please allow us to do more research. Third method to support anyone, to help anyone to learn about Buddhism, I can say that is language skills or language capability, especially in America today. We must use English as the main language. I know even in GDPT, we encourage all young brothers and sisters to learn Vietnamese, but please do not expect the young generation masterpiece about Vietnamese so that you can send the message of Buddhism in Vietnamese. Rather than each of us have to accept the reality, the main language in our society is English. Okay? So language skill is very important. If you want to bring Buddhism into Mexico, what language you should use? Spanish, right? So if Jimmy cannot Spanish, Henry speaks Spanish better. Which one have a chance to improve or to influence Buddhism in Mexico? Henry. Very easy, right? So language skill, that's it. The very important tools. And I see this from myself. If I cannot speak English well enough to communicate with American, there's no way I can spread the teaching of the Buddha in this area. And so the reason I think more brothers and sisters come to join on Friday night, because we speak English. Very simple. Number 4, that is someone who have more knowledge in medical treatment or psychological treatment. You have more tools to engage with the people. For example, some brothers and sisters in GDPT, they are medical doctor, they are pharmacists, so very easy for them to establish the relationship with many people in his or her area. Why? Because they have credential, right? When someone gets sick, they really need medical doctor. That's a great opportunity to establish the relationship in the whole community. When you have credential already, people trust you. That's very makes sense, right? In my situation, I feel fortunate. I convince myself, learn English, and then I get my master's degree in counseling, and then PhD in psychology. Now, some of people go to the temple because they're my clients outside, or some of my professional friends, they refer after they provide some psychological treatment. They say, hey, you should go to the Tamba temple and meet this monk. He have a knowledge and also have experience in psychopathology. So could you please come in and see him so that he can help you learn how to meditate. That is also the best way to reduce your anxiety, your depression, etc. So medical treatment or any knowledge in biology, in pharmacy, in psychology, I consider that is the best way to reach out. Number by, that is, if someone who have a knowledge in technical, in any kind of vocational, and you masterpiece about that, then also that's the best tool to spread the Dharma. For example, if you have a good knowledge in computers, like Henry, he have a good knowledge about fixing some stuff related to computer. If someone break a laptop, pick up the phone call, Mr. Henry, can you help me about this? I will see you at the temple after I finish the activity from GΔPT. Very easy. After you have someone, then you can recommend, in order to avoid you drop your laptop again, you come to the temple and learn how to be mindful in your daily life, so you save a lot of money also. Or anyone you have a knowledge in sculpting, landscaping, or painting, or even haircut. Here in the community, we have one sister who have she is the owner of haircut, and she introduced a lot of her clients go to the temple. After they have a conversation, they share that they have a personal issue, they have a problem in their relationship, or some of their children develop ADHD. So this sister, she said, oh, I know someone who have a knowledge about this, so you can come to see him. So it is very practical, that is, you have some knowledge in any career. Any careers, if you understanding, if you masterpiece, you can benefit and you establish. So in conclusion, I can say that not only 5 methods we can say, but based on the Buddhist text we say it's 5 methods. But if you look big picture, it's not 5 methods, but also 5,000 methods, right? Anything you can create the opportunity, you can establish relationship with the people, and you say, hey, I think my life is getting better. I think I am a happy person today because I'm learning and practicing Buddhism. I learn how to apply it, and that is very true. For example, 2007, 10 days, exactly 10 days before I graduated from Southeastern Louisiana University with my master's degree, some of the police, they overheard someone call and report to the police department on the campus. They say, oh, they saw some strange man carry a backpack and walk around the campus. And immediately 2 police, they knocked on the door and they invited me to leave the classroom with my professor, and they asked me a bunch of questions related to security, and they checked my background. But I remained in peace and calm because I know for sure that I did not do anything wrong. And I show them my student ID. I follow their recommendation or ask any question. I try my best to answer. But the thing is, when I return to my class, all my classmates, they're upset for me because they say that's not fair for me because I did not do anything wrong. It's considered I'm a peaceful student on the campus, but why people keep doing this? So they asked me to hire a lawyer to sue back to the school or the police department. And I say, no, being a Buddhist monk, I believe in peace, I want to live in harmony. So they may have a wrong perception, that is their problems, not my problem. But from there, at least some of my classmates later on, he wondered, how can you remain and maintain peace and calm like this? I say it's very simple because I know that I did not do anything wrong, and I know that they have a wrong perception, and they really care and protect the student, but the way they handle is not skillfully. But I should not react based on my negative emotion or feelings, rather than open my heart to accept the reality. But from there, my classmates, he cares more about Buddhism, can help someone remain in peace and calm. Eventually, he go to the temple, he learn Buddhism, and he takes refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. A couple years later, somehow, he met a beautiful lady on Friday night, so he fall in love with that lady, and later on, both of them also asked me to perform wedding ceremony for them also at this temple. So in conclusion, I can say that any opportunity you can help the people. As long as you have a good heart, you understand basic of Buddhism, then you can help the people. So I wish of you can take something away from 5 basic methods that I believe everyone can learn, can apply, and benefit to all people. Thank you. Okay.